time for the part of the show where I vet the guests and you ask the questions. This week, I was joined by one of our national treasures, Matt Lucas. Matt Lucas is one of Britain's most beloved figures. Starting his career as the legendary George Dawes on Shooting Stars, he then became a national treasure thanks to his work with David Walliams on Little Britain.
Yeah, you look very well. You had your hair done?
No, not really.
Since then, he's established a career in Hollywood, starred in Doctor Who, became co-host of the Great British Bake Off and took his talents to the stage in Les Mis. And now, he's bringing us his new Christmas single, Merry Christmas, Baked Potato. Here we are with Matt Lucas.
Hello.
You look, if you don't mind me saying, you look like you're wearing something particularly comfy.
Well, it's comfy, but also alluring, Russell, because you know you're a gay icon. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, whenever I chat to someone and they talk about comedians, they'll go, oh, I like Russell Howard. Because you're ageless.
Yeah, but I think I'm going to be a bit like one of those blokes that I'll age one night. Do you know what I mean? I'll kind of wake up and I'll look full pickled onion.
The perils of being boyish.
Now, me and my family, huge fans of Shooting Stars.
Oh, thank you.
And what's really fascinating about you is you've had so many little moments of silly that you've just dropped on the nation. Like, we had the Peanuts song played at our wedding, me and my wife.
Really?
So that was on, yeah, it's her favourite song, so it was on the list halfway through. So this surreal situation that everyone's suddenly going, Peanuts! But you forget what was obviously a little silly moment for you kind of lives on.
Peanuts!
It was inspired by when I used to go to Arsenal in the 80s. There were these blokes who had long hair like that and rotten teeth, and they would sell peanuts for 30p a bag. But I think there was just something magical happened when I walked out there and Vic and Bob saw me, and then we all just got the giggles, you know, and I couldn't get through it. I wrote the music as well, and I'm always like, you know, I wrote the music to Peanuts. I didn't just come up with the word peanuts at those intervals.
I mean, being silly is much maligned. Like, kids are often told, don't be silly. And yet, it has such a power because it reduces us all to kind of children again, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's important to find your inner silly. And sometimes you do silly and it does go a bit wrong, but if the intention was just to be a bit silly, that's noble, I think.
Well, you've actually got a book out, we've got it here. It's called Matt Lucas, My Very, 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 Very Silly Book of Jokes.
There's actually 7 veries in the title.
Okay, did I get that right?
You said 5.
Oh, I apologise.
No,
very,
it's
very,
fine.
very,
It's
very,
fine.
very, 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 very silly.
I'll
book
go
of
back
jokes.
and ask the publishers to republish the book.
So how did this come about then? So it's a joke book for kids, isn't it?
It's a joke book for kids, but it's got me all the way through it, making little comments. There's little cartoons of me, and it's a joke book, but it's very personalised. I just thought it would be a fun thing to do, a joke book. Why not? Even before the pandemic, life is still kind of stressful. So it's important to be silly sometimes.
And isn't it funny, like how singing about a baked potato, again, provided a bit of respite for the nation. But when did you know that you thought, I'm going to bring this out and I'm going to raise money for the NHS?
Yeah, so I was watching the news and people were sort of not distancing and were just in denial. And I had this song on Shooting Stars, and it just was a moment where I rewrote the lyrics and just put it on Twitter, and I didn't really think anything of it. But the tweet went viral, and one of my friends said, why don't you record Baked Potato as a song? Because it had really gone viral. And then I thought, oh yeah, I could do that and raise funds for Feed NHS. And I did a duet with Gary Barlow, because he was doing duets.
Which was terrific. Yeah.
On the day of release, and it went to #1 in the downloads charts that week, and #1 on the iTunes charts, and it even got into the top 40.
Keep your distance, make some space.
Thank you, baked potato.
Remember not to touch your face.
And obviously lots of kids in schools were singing it because it simplified the basic do's and don'ts of what you should and shouldn't do in a pandemic.
I've got to duet with Gary Barlow. Life made.
In fact, we've got a Merry Christmas Baked Potato book as well.
That's it, Merry Christmas Baked Potato. All downloads and streaming from this song go to Fair Share, because we've all been so inspired by what Marcus Rashford's done. So for them.
Hopefully it goes to Christmas #1, loads of money for Fair Share. Job's a good one. Now, we've got loads of questions from the audience, so I should get round to those. First, this is from Finn. Can you tell Matt he's a sexy bastard? So, Matt, you're a sexy bastard.
Oh, Finn might be a man.
He goes, hello. So it's not hello, it's hello, Russ.
Oh, he's a lad.
So I'm guessing he
He's
thinks
a
like
bit
he's
rough.
landed. Hello, Russ. He goes, oi, right, hello, Russ. Firstly, tell Matt he's a sexy bastard. Whoop.
Thank you very
He's
much.
got that feel, sort of South End way. Also, ask him if he drinks Earl Grey.
Well, when I used to write with Williams, we would drink peppermint tea all day. And very occasionally, he would make a pot, which was 2 bags English breakfast tea, 1 bag Earl Grey. Very nice cocktail.
Really? Lovely
Yeah.
stuff. And you two, you're writing again? Is that
We're
right?
trying to, well, no, we would like to. We've had an idea for something. Mainly, we just message each other silly photos and jokes like most people do. Like most days, we'll WhatsApp each other something stupid. But yeah, I mean, we had a nice walk last week. That was lovely. Yeah.
Is it that annoying thing when you go for a walk and suddenly it's in the papers?
Well, I definitely look dishevelled next to David Walliams, who's sort of always been a very natty dresser. Is that what you would say? Can someone be a natty dresser? David's
Yeah,
very
describe as
natty.
natty.
I'm a bit more. You know, when you go to somewhere like Halfords, and then they also just sell some T-shirts as well. And
Yeah.
then, you know, or just. I buy T-shirts in shops that aren't like a motorway service station, but they also just have a little rack of T-shirts.
Yeah,
I can't be helped.
Now, we've got loads of video questions. We should pop those up now.
Hi, Matt. Okay, so every Wednesday, I go cycling with your former geography teacher from Haberdashers, Mr. Holmes. And he told me that he taught you geography when you were there. I just have one question for you. What is the funniest memory you have of being with him in the classroom so I can get back to him and tell him your response?
There you go. Great question.
I went back to the school to sort of give a talk and basically say, work harder than me or you'll end up like me. And I did see him there, and he was sort of ageless. It's weird, isn't it? You want your school teachers to be ageless, don't you? When you go back 20 years later, you want them to look exactly the same. Feels like a great betrayal that they're older.
What were you like at school? Were you kind of class clown?
I was very, very keen not to just be the kid with no hair, because it would have been very easy for that to have been the only thing I was. Oh,
Yeah.
he's the kid with no hair. So I think I was
Yeah.
quite driven to sort of develop a personality in a way, so that I could sort of be more than just that, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, completely.
I tried doing sports. I wasn't very good at that, and I was a scorer in cricket.
Oh,
And
nice.
I got sacked from doing that.
Why?
Because I wrote down everyone's nicknames in the book. And also I was having a natter with the parents while they were watching the match, and I didn't keep the score. And the teacher said to me, it was Mr. Rose, and he said, "Never in the history of haberdashers have we had a cricket match that was incorrectly scored. You've blotted the school's copybook. You've blotted the school copybook, hundreds of years of matches. And now we have this scrap of paper. I don't know what to do. I can't put it in the school book. We don't have a correct record. What are we to do?" So I was relieved of my duties. So I ended up playing in school bands and doing school plays.
And when did you realise you were so gifted at kind of like accents and caricatures and...
I was at a party one night, and I remember being about 15, 16, and somebody said, oh, Matt does a good impression of someone. And then I sat there, and for about an hour, I had the whole party in hysterics. It was like doing a stand-up set, where I was doing impressions of everyone and just sort of making observations about them. And I was thinking, that's probably the funniest I've ever been in that hour.
Yeah.
So I was suddenly really popular with all the cool kids. You know, really popular with all the sort of handsome boys with blonde hair who played
Because you've just done this gig in a kitchen.
I just did like a really tight five. And then we used to have these parties at this guy's house most weeks, and people would smoke weed and they'd all get drunk and people would get off with each other, but not me, because I was a closet homosexual, Russell. And but I would use my comedy to entertain people so no one asked questions. And then one week I walked into the party and it was in full kind of flow. People humping, listening to Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin on vinyl.
Yeah.
You know, weed everywhere. You know, like really cool. The lights down low, and I went, guys, you have to see this. It's incredible. And I made everyone stop and watch Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times.
Wow.
Now, was this a moment where the whole room went, wow? No.
No.
It was a moment where everybody went, what the fuck? And basically, it was the moment where I became like the social reject of the group.
Oh, well, no.
So I had this sort of brief 3 or 4 months with the Cool Kids, and then,
Oh, this is my mum.
hello.
Hi, Matt. Big fan. What makes you happy?
Oh, it's a lovely little question.
I don't think it's fair to say sex in front of your mother, is it?
Of course it is.
No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be so vulgar. Do you know, when I go on YouTube, I watch videos of, like, Marines coming home and surprising their parents. They've been away for 2 years.
Yeah. It's pretty special, that kind of stuff, isn't it?
Or a mother and daughter being reunited after 35 years. And you think, well, why didn't you meet earlier? That's weird. Anyway, but like that. Also, I quite like it because I'm just sitting down. There's not too much exertion.
Nobody did that, did they? So there was lots of Joe Wicks during the lockdown. That's what you should have done. You should have sort of sat there and done the sit-down play.
But I'd say, yeah, from couch to fridge.
Yeah, exactly. I tell you what, I absolutely loved that. Thank you so much for being on the show, mate.
Thank you.
Have a lovely Christmas.
Thank you.
And all that.
And you too.
And have a wonderful New Year.
See you later.